They laughed when she stepped onto the mat, wearing an oversized white GI and looking more like someone's mom than a fighter. She quietly tightened her belt as the others whispered and chuckled behind her. Some even rolled their eyes. In a world where strength, speed, and toughness often define respect, this simple woman, soft-spoken and in her 40s, seemed completely out of place at the jiu-jitsu gym. Most of the other students had been training for years. She had just signed up a few weeks ago, and it showed. She moved slower. She asked questions others thought were basic. During warm-ups, she struggled to keep up, but still, she came back. Day after day, it was clear no one took her seriously, especially not the black belt, who volunteered to go easy on her during sparring. A tall, confident man with a dozen medals to his name, he offered a polite smile, but his tone was more patronizing than kind. You could see it in his eyes. This match was just another quick round before he moved on to someone more challenging. But what happened next made the whole gym go silent, because just 10 seconds after they bowed to begin, that same black belt was tapping furiously against the mat as wide, caught in a submission no one saw coming. No one could understand how it happened so fast. The woman simply stood up, brushed off her GI, and offered him a hand to help him up. She didn't say a word. She didn't gloat. But from that moment on, no one ever looked at her the same way again. What was her secret? How did someone with so little experience take down a seasoned champion in just seconds? And why did she start training in the first place? The answers to those questions and the story that led to that jaw-dropping moment are far more surprising than anyone expected. Stay with us, because what happened before that match is where the real story begins. Her name was Maria. She lived a quiet life in a small town, working long hours as a nurse at the local clinic. Most of her days were spent caring for others, calming frightened patients, listening to stories from lonely elders, and cleaning up messes most people wouldn't want to be near. There was nothing flashy about her. No loud personality. No dramatic past. Just a woman who kept to herself, always polite, always humble. If you passed her on the street, you'd never guess she was hiding something. She joined the jiu-jitsu gym on a rainy Monday, walking in with worn sneakers and a shy smile. When the front desk asked what brought her in, she simply said, "I just need something new." No one pried. They handed her a form, gave her a tour, and told her the schedule. But behind that quiet answer, there was something deeper. Something unspoken. Maria never missed a class. She was the first to arrive and often the last to leave, staying back to drill movements again and again while others chatted or packed up. She asked questions not to impress anyone, but because she genuinely wanted to understand. She wrote notes in a small notebook after each session, studying them during breaks at work. Still, even with her dedication, she wasn't winning sparring rounds. The younger students moved faster. The stronger ones overpowered her. A few even laughed when she got swept to the ground for the third or fourth time in a row. But Maria never got angry, never pushed back. She simply nodded, smiled, and kept training. Then something changed, quietly, without drawing attention. Her timing started to improve. Her movements became sharper. She began noticing things others missed, small mistakes, moments of hesitation. No one saw it coming. But she was studying more than technique. She was studying everyone, and someone in particular had caught her eye. It was James's black belt. The one everyone respected, the one Maria eventually made tap out. He wasn't just good, he was dominant. Fast, technical, always in control. In class, he was friendly. But there was an edge to him, like he carried something to prove. He didn't tolerate mistakes, especially from beginners. During drills, he'd correct others with a tone that made people shrink. Some admired him. Others feared him. And Maria. She watched him closely. Not in a confrontational way, but with quiet focus, like she was piecing together a puzzle no one else saw. What no one knew was that James had been struggling. An injury from a tournament 2 months earlier had messed with his rhythm. His confidence was shaken, though he hid it well. He didn't want anyone to know he wasn't at his best. And deep down, he resented anyone who reminded him of that, especially newer students, who slowed things down or asked too many questions. Maria, unknowingly, became a target of that frustration. During sparring, he'd push her harder than necessary. Small things, sudden sweep, a shoulder press held just a bit too long. Always with a smile, always with a good job. But she felt it. Maria never complained. But something inside her shifted. She started studying James more than anyone. Every move, every reaction, every weakness. She wasn't just training to improve. She was training with purpose. Not revenge. Exactly. Something close to it. A quiet fire burning behind her calm expression. Meanwhile, others at the gym began to notice her strange progress. How she could suddenly escape positions she struggled with before. How her timing matched higher belts. Some whispered she was getting private lessons. Others thought she had some martial arts background she wasn't talking about, but no one could figure her out. Maria was becoming a mystery, and James, he had no idea what was coming. The gym was buzzing that evening. It was open sparring night when students of all levels paired up and rolled freely. The coaches watched from the sidelines, offering tips now and then, but mostly letting the fighters move at their own pace. James, as usual, was in top form. He moved through round after round without breaking much of a sweat, submitting blue belts and purple belts like it was nothing. He was sharp, but a little too aggressive, like he was trying to prove something. Maria waited quietly, tying and untying her belt between rounds. She knew the moment was close. Her name was finally called, and there it was, James, already standing in the center of the mat, looking relaxed but slightly amused. A few students glanced over, nudging each other. Everyone assumed this would be another easy roll for him. Just a quick match before the night ended. Maria didn't react. She stepped onto the mat, bowed, and took her stance. The coach clapped. Begin. For a moment, everything went quiet in Maria's mind. All the noise, the whispers, the pressure, the doubt faded. She didn't see James as the gym's star anymore. She saw angles, movement, openings, and him. Just another body in motion. James came forward fast, reaching for grips like he always did. But Maria didn't resist. She let him get exactly what he wanted, and that's when things shifted. She moved with precision, smooth, fast, controlled. She wasn't reacting anymore. She was leading. James frowned, caught off guard, trying to reset. But Maria was already one step ahead. The others watching leaned in, confused. Something wasn't right. James wasn't dominating. He was fighting to keep up. And then came the moment, the setup. So quick, most people missed it. A trap he didn't see coming. His base collapse, 10 seconds. That's all it took. But what really happened in those 10 seconds? And what Maria had planned all along was more than just skill. It was personal. And the real reason behind it was something James and everyone else in that gym had no idea about. James sat on the edge of the mat, breathing heavier than usual, staring at the floor like he was trying to replay every second. Around him, the gym had gone quiet. No one knew what to say. Maria offered her hand again, just like before, and he took it this time without any pride left in his grip. It wasn't just that she tapped him, it was how she did it. Clean, sharp, effortless. She didn't flinch, didn't hesitate. That kind of confidence didn't come from a few months of training. Later that evening, as students trickled out and the lights dimmed, One of the assistant coaches pulled the head instructor aside. "You know she's not new, right?" he said. Quietly, the instructor frowned. "What do you mean?" The coach glanced toward the locker room, lowering his voice. "She used to compete, years ago, under a different name, had a record, before she disappeared. That changed everything." The next day, whispers turned into theories. Some said she was a former national-level grappler who left the sport after a tragedy. Others believed she trained privately with someone famous. A few thought she was sent by a rival gym to test James. But the truth was stranger than any of those guesses, and only one person in that building knew it. Maria. She hadn't planned to reveal anything. She came to train quietly for reasons of her own. But now that the spotlight was on her, things began to shift. Some students started treating her differently, more respectful, but also more distant. James, especially, wasn't ready to let it go. His pride was bruised and deep down. Something told him this wasn't just a lucky roll. He started digging, checking tournament records, asking around, looking for anything that could explain what happened. And then, one night, he found something. A video clip, nearly a decade old. Grainy footage of a woman in a blue GI dominating a championship match. Same movement, same focus, same quiet fire in her eyes. But the name. It wasn't Maria. And that's when James realized this story was bigger than just a loss on the mat. Something was coming. And he had just stepped into it without even knowing. James couldn't sleep that night. He kept watching the clip on. Repeat the match, the movements, the takedown. The woman in the video didn't just resemble Maria. It was Maria. But the name on the bracket listed someone